Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders, the Authority Positioning Coach. Today we have with us David Denning, who's the co-founder of Jumpstart Go. David, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Mike. It's a pleasure and honor to be here.
Hey, so I want to talk all about what you do and how you do it and why you do it, but get us started first with your story and background. How'd you get into the industry of working with financial professionals in the insurance sector to help them succeed in their social media?
So I'll try to keep this a little short and sweet, but actually met my spouse at 16 in high school. We started dating, married at 21 in college. Both came from marketing consulting backgrounds. I went to Georgia Tech and she went to SCAD, but we started working with insurance, real estate, tech startups, local mom and pop businesses, ran a lifestyle business from around the world, running it from the US while living in South Africa for 2 years, and then renting our place out, living in Thailand, Vietnam, and the Philippines, and coming back and running kind of business just from all over. And about 8 years ago, we met a third partner of ours who we ended up forming Jumpstart Go with, focused specifically to the insurance industry, working with agents and agencies and financial advisors, helping them grow and scale through organic social media and leveraging strategic referral partners and really getting away from the smile and dial, or I call it the frown and drown of just calling leads all day.
Right. I like that a lot because I've heard smile and dial for decades and decades. And when you're dialing, you ain't smiling. That's so frown and drown. That's pretty
100% true.
I mean, really? You think about something, it's like, okay, let's talk to a financial services insurance professional and say, here's how you can get more clients. And you tell them, make 100 calls a day. Well, if someone was going to do that 2-3 weeks in a row, you're going to get new clients, but it's not going to last 2 or 3 hours.
Well, and you're going to get burnt out because honestly, it's not even 100 anymore. Contact rates drop so low. People are doing 300 to 500 a day. And it's the exact opposite of what we're going to dive into and talk that I know you believe and I believe too. Like, it's a relationship industry, especially when you get to like financial advisors and, huge decisions, huge money. It's around trust and authority and who you're working with. And I can't think of a least amount of authority and trust than cold calling up a lead or someone and trying to get them to trust you with their money.
With their money, their insurance, and the minute you say the word it's like, I got that, I'm good. It's like, wait, hold on. But you don't realize there's living benefits. There's all the things. You don't get past square one at all. So let's talk about that. You are focusing on social. And I think that is such a broad term. People kind of shy away from it. They're like, I don't know. I've tried that before. When you talk to a financial professional or insurance agent, where are you starting with helping them understand what it really means to work in the social media space to develop their presence to then lead to leads and picking up clients?
I think it's first dispelling some myths and concerns of the things that keep them from doing it, or I tried it and I couldn't really get it to work out. So some of those things are like, we focus on, what's going to get them growth and results and referral partners and seen as authority, not so much on becoming an influencer and getting paid off of number of views and followers, right? Because that's not what they're looking for. They're not looking to be a Kim Kardashian. They're looking to be the trusted insurance agent or advisor, right? And so that's where we lean into, hey, you're going to be doing different things, not, funny dances and silly things that, would necessarily be if you're approaching it from an influencer side. Yeah. But we're really going to take hey, what's the very specific processes and steps and strategies I can take that don't take a lot of time, because we're not teaching people to spend all day on social or anything. I do think that's a waste of time, and ends up actually getting into conversations with my target audience, my strategic referral partners, and even team members coming to my team if I'm looking to do that, all through the social strategies. So we narrow it down to things like focusing on a single platform until you're doing 7 figures off of it versus trying to do a whole bunch that all work a little bit differently, explaining why it works the way it does. All those things to give them the exact step-by-steps that we help guide them through to bring in those results, but with really the minimum amount of time required.
We could break down what you just said into about a 4-hour masterclass right there, which I want to break out a couple points because I think it's so strong. You can't be all things to all people at all times on all platforms. And I think people would nod their head and go, yeah, of course. But then they do it. They try to, spray and pray and shotgun approach and post the same post on all their platforms, or buy one of those tools that you post once and then it just sprays it out there, but that's not effective. And I want you to go a little bit deeper on something that I'm passionate about, which is target audience. If you can pick one problem that one segment of your target audience struggles with and really become the expert in solving that problem, now all of a sudden people start seeing you and they're understanding, and you take that heart of a teacher and you create content that teaches, not content that sells. So talk a little bit about that target audience and creating that kind of solution to their problem.
Absolutely. And we're in complete agreement on that. I mean, the spray and pray, trying to be everything, it's people are afraid to narrow down to target audiences. They think they're missing opportunity, but in reality, they 10x it by narrowing down. It's easier to be seen as authority. It's everything I can keep relevant to my target audience. So it's the same thing here. That's actually one of the very first things. We help them get very in depth with what that target audience, the psychographics, everything about that, not just, families or homeowners or whatever.
Right.
It's still way broad. So we help them get very specific in that. They're always maybe a little nervous, but then they're like, oh my gosh, this has been a huge spike because now I know exactly what my content's around, what I'm talking about. Even if it's not even educational insurance related, but it still ties into my target audience, what they're thinking about, what they're concerned about, family off of that as well. And so we dive deep onto that to be seen not only as the authority on that side and the go-to person, but also that positioning is really great for the referral partners that deal with those people with their businesses too, to be able to send them over to you and trust you with them as well. So we do focus 100%. On content. That's a piece of it, but we dive into a lot of social strategies beyond just the content, into the audience building, the messaging, and then even into leveraging Facebook groups around bringing stuff through too. Because I think a lot of people get caught up on the content, which is important, but there's a lot of things to form connections and conversations.
Yeah. I think that anyone hearing you say what you just said would go, yeah, that makes sense. But then where do they start? And that's what's cool about you kind of coming alongside and helping them, craft that for themselves. Where do you feel that story comes in? Because once you've found that target audience and that solution to the problem they have, you cannot just go, hi, I'm Mike, I do this, call me. It's got to be presented in a educational, and I feel like some unique story approaches, because as we know, facts tell, but stories sell.
Yeah, I mean, as early as you can get stories in and weave it into stuff, the better. We like to weave parts of their lives, their interest, especially in ways that I can relate it to their target audiences. It makes it more fun and natural for the agent or the advisor. I mean, and then they're going to do it more too that way. And then they don't realize, I can be myself, but also be seen as the authority and actually end up with the clients I want to work with and enjoy working with at the end of the day. So the more I can weave story in, is the fastest way to build trust as well. And so there's a lot of ways you can do it. Like, if we're talking like Facebook, you can actually pin a post at the top of your profile. So I always love that as a little story and intro post about the person. So it's always the first piece of content people see when they come to their profile, but weave it into their reels and their short videos they do into their post. Really naturally you can leave it into the kind of copy around everything while still making your points or educating. It just makes it more interesting versus just here's an educational piece real quick. Well, like, who are you? Why am I even paying attention here? So the more you can weave that in, the better. And like you said, on podcasts and other things, you get a chance to dive into a story a little bit more than maybe in a short post. And that's a really great way to connect with people.
Yep. Okay, so now a financial services professional, insurance provider is listening to this going, got it, I'm going to do it. What do they get wrong when they start trying to work with, reactivating their social because they've dabbled but they let it go dormant? What do they get wrong?
So the first thing is what platform I'm even going to focus on initially. A lot of people don't realize maybe what's required by each platform and maybe bite off more than they can chew for what they're wanting to do. Like, I love a lot of platforms like TikTok and others too, but most agents and advisors would rather murder me than do the 3 or 4 videos a day that's really required to grow on those platforms. They're not looking to be content creators. They're looking to grow their business. And so we generally recommend and start all of our clients on something that's the fastest fastest, easiest, quickest one to leverage, and it has unique advantages like Facebook groups. So really Facebook, not just based on the 3 billion users, but the fact that groups are segmented based on audience, interest, demographics. I can get to my audiences quicker off of that. And it's a lot less content creation, like one post a day, less than 5-10 minutes. It can make it really simple on that. And so they maybe start on something more challenging. And then they make mistakes of not really understanding that the algorithm is all built to drive money for the company that runs it, like Meta for Facebook. And so they don't really realize what they're doing wrong, like focusing on business pages when which reach is reduced down to 1% or less because they want you to run ads or boost posts. That's how they make their money, instead of focusing around the personal profile that has the opposite incentive, where they're really focused around engagement, keep people on Facebook so they can serve more ads and make more money off of that, versus them going off the platform, like agents making mistakes of using like links and posts to direct people to websites, book a call, policy reviews, or a video they made on YouTube, for example. A competitor, Google, they're trying to send them there, of which Facebook has no incentive to push those posts to people that will cost them money by sending them away from the platform. So there's little things like that already they're working against the system, then working along with it and making it easier for themselves.
And most of those things aren't hard. It's just like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And similar to, okay, I'm going to join this group and day one, put a post in and I'm going to say, call me because I can get you the best, whatever. That's the temptation. That's the tendency. We have to resist that. We have to create, connection, content, teaching, and then dribble in a little bit of like, oh, if anyone would need some help on this, just DM me. That's fine. But what are some of these other things that people tend to go, ooh, that was an easy thing. Never thought of that. And it's so simple to do, but it really does move the needle.
And absolutely. I mean, like you said, some of the things are just like simple and basic, like off the bat that, oh, that makes sense. I should do that. But it's kind of like basketball. You got to learn to dribble ball before you can, do a 360 dunk, right? Yeah. And so, kind of starting them off like, hey, let's start off with the right setup first and start putting that place so that we can move along there. And I think a lot of people think that even if they are doing social and doing it on their profile and doing it the right way, not using links, they focus on just the passive of just the content creation. If I create this, eventually people will see it, they'll reach out, they'll come to me, versus all of the active things I can do to create and make conversations happen with my audience or referral partners each day that I'm really building there. So, I mean, there's activity around building the correct audience. There's kind of 3 categories that I really want to build my audience with. And then also my connections and messaging with those categories, how to use value-driven things like lead magnet, short trainings, guides that go to my target audience, and like 2-step posts to get people to respond and then reach out and start a messenger conversation with them. And I mean, all these things that are so advantageous, but they build on each other as well. So that's where I find is people take action and consistency with it, they can build entire business off of it.
So in the day and age of AI, I feel like too many people can't even spell AI because it's like, oh, it's just too new. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. And then other people go too much in the deep end and go, yeah, I should be doing videos, so I'm just going to make an AI avatar and it blast it out all over the place. But then it looks like an AI avatar that's been blasted out all over the place, and that works against you for authority and trust and credibility. And that's just my opinion. But what is your take on that?
I'm with you. It's a really happy medium that you're looking for. If you're not leveraging AI at all, you're doing a lot more work inefficiently and probably less effectively than the ones that are and going to get left behind in the dust. But with the rise of AI, like you're talking about, that craving for human and trust and who's real, who am I working with is rising faster and faster, to where if I'm leaning all into AI, I'm using AI images, AI video, I'm copy pasting stuff, especially if it hasn't been trained in depth on the AI, it really is like eroding trust and authority than it's actually helping you. So that's that medium of using it as a tool to help you, make processes easier around my content and what I'm going to be doing. So it's quicker and easier for me to record or put that content out, but it's still me in the images, me in the videos. And it's just making processes easier for me, especially if I take that AI along with like a virtual assistant and have them manage 90% of those items to where I can be me and focus on me in the conversations and connections there. But I can take a lot of that work off my plate.
Yeah. And I think that it just needs to be something that aligns with your brand, and your brand needs to be real and authentic. And I've heard it said real is rare, and it's kind of like, you've probably seen this too, where you can just kind of tell that a post was generated with AI. It's got all the emojis and it's got all the, the spacing and all that. And I feel like we have to, as a human, when we put those posts out there, you might use AI, but then you need to take that and through your own writing style, just smooth it out to make it feel like it's a human conversation. And that becomes an art form. And I feel like AI is so powerful to give us a lot of great things, but then it never, ever will replace our brain and our own human interaction to make sure we make the right connection to people. And I think that as fast as AI is moving, we are always going to be struggling to make our human presence known to our target audience. And then when we jump on a Zoom with them, it's like, okay, let me turn on the camera and chat with you because I need to be that same person in the live Zoom that I was with, that you read on my social media post.
And I totally agree with the conclusion of that. And I would just flip the process a little bit because it's even more work if you have AI, create something and then I've got to try to make it fit into my brand voice and my image. We always have, when we're teaching around that in like the programs, like we always teach an AI is almost like an untrained employee or intern that's come into your business, right? You don't expect it to do things right or perfectly or even know what the business is, how it really works. You've got to train it so that it becomes knowledgeable and can actually perform those. And so we really get into, very specifically, how am I training the AI on me, what I'm focusing on, my target audience, how I speak, how I write, and all these things. So when the outputs are now actually how I would sound, it's not using emojis, it's using my same writing style, it's using the same slang I'm doing, and it's actually like how I would specifically answer. Well, now I can actually trust the outputs, and now it's getting easier. I don't have to rewrite things, and now I can even have, like I said, a virtual assistant help leverage some of this stuff as far as getting it posted and other things, and take that off my plate. So same conclusion. Yeah, absolutely. You want to be building that trust, authority, and it be you on that, but it's going to be less work if you train the AI first.
100%. So let's wrap up with this. When you are talking to an insurance agent, financial professional, what is the deliverable or the package, or what is the program that you are offering to help take them to the next level?
To put it like quick and short, ultimately we're helping them get all the strategies and everything in place with one-on-one and help and support and private community all around implementing that, which is also like a community of referral partners, since they all focus on different lines of insurance as well that we encourage. But we're helping them put all this in place to pull in prospects, referral partners, or even team members from social without paid leads and paid ads, and that they know this and continue executing this over months and over years. We really are self-empowering them to continue doing that, or even train team members around that so they can pull in that business all profitably.
I love it. Well, how can someone learn more and reach out and connect with you, David?
So the easiest thing, if they're insurance agent, financial professional, we do run a free Facebook group called Marketing for Insurance Agents. Kept the name very simple. It's about 36,000 insurance agents in there. We do lots of trainings in there and a lot of connections between members as far as referral partners. It's a great educational community. And like you said, we want to lead with value and as an authority first. And that makes it so much easier when people want to talk to us about our programs like the Closers Click that we run. So that's probably one of the easiest places, is hopping in there, and you'll start to learn about social and some of the benefits there, or how you can use that. Or if they want to go to our website, jumpstartgonow.com or /action-call, then happy to learn a little bit more about us there, or have a call with the team, and happy to see how we can help at all, or get you some resources or some tools that you can leverage.
Love it. Well, David, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a real pleasure chatting with you today.
Thank you, Mike, so much for having me. Really, really appreciate it. And I think we have got a similar vision on how people go out and build their businesses and their authority.
100%.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show, or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneursradio.com.